VGK with a 5-2 win over Utah Friday night. Correspondent Chris Golick gives us his takeaways next, right here on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights.
You're Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
I don't know if that's a promotion or not, but your correspondent, Chris Golick now, Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick from Las Vegas. Thanks for making us your first listen each and every day. Find us wherever you get your podcasts. Please subscribe to our Locked On Golden Knights YouTube channel. We are brought to you today by FanDuel. There's an NFL doubleheader today. Just go to FanDuel. It's America's #1 sportsbook. VGK posted a win over UHC, the Utah Hockey Club, on Friday night. Chris was there. The Golden Knights, we talked about this on Friday. Would they practice the power play? They did. And it had some returns with their first preseason power play goal. We said in our preview that VGK also, Chris, had to limit Utah's chances against the Kings. We recall last week on Wednesday, the Golden Knights allowed 16 shots on goal in the first period of play alone. And then 2 nights later, VGK allows 16 shots total on goal. Our correspondent, Chris Golick, was there. Who stood out for you in the VGK victory over Utah?
I mean, Eichel's obviously the easy answer. The only thing that concerned me about Eichel's game was face-offs. I felt like on the power plays, he wasn't doing too well. I felt like on every VGK power play, they were clearing. They had to clear the zone and get it back in. Now, that said, looking at the stats from the game, he actually was 56% in the circle, which is about 11% better than his career mark, it seems like. So, maybe he was winning the neutral zone faceoffs and stuff, but when he was out there against the other team's best faceoff centerman, I don't know how that was shaken out. But outside of the faceoffs, at least on the power play, Eichel was phenomenal. He certainly took over that game. Nice quick shot, one you would like, Tony, that low shot that beat the goalie. A couple of assists as well. Dorofeev. I mean, Dorofeev is. I knew for a few years Dorofeev was going to be really good. I've been telling my card collecting buddies any Dorofeev card, just hold on to it, sit on it. It's worth a few bucks now. Just wait. There's going to be a breakout season coming. What we know about Dorofeev, he's got a nose for the net. Dude can score. He goes right to the dirty areas. What I've never seen from Dorofeev before is what I saw in Friday night's game. We talk a lot in the show about Eichel. He creates time and space for other players. Takes the puck, goes behind the net, back to the blue line, back behind the net, and he waits for someone to get open. He's that good. Dorofeev was also doing that in this game. Wow. Dorofeev had the puck on his stick a lot, and he was able to create separation from the defenders while looking for that pass or an opportunity to drive the net. So certainly going to start with Eichel and Dorofeev as far as standouts.
Goals on the night for Pietrangelo, Eichel, Dorofeev, Kolasar, and Barbashev. Defensively, I wanted to ask you about the Theodore and Pietrangelo D pairing. Was that working?
No, but I think that's going to take time. The first goal was the first goal that the Golden Knights gave up, where Pietrangelo and Aiden Hill just had a collision. Kind of weird one. Just weird things are going to happen, whatever. But the second goal, didn't like the structure of Pietrangelo and Theodore out there, and I felt Theodore got worked on one. Just someone burned him. Not a big deal in the preseason, but something to keep an eye on. So again, I think it's the first preseason game they had. Is it something that I'm overly comfortable with after one game? No. You got a lot of experience between those two. I don't think it's going to be an issue. If there's a concern, both are. Theodore's offensive-minded. Pietrangelo isn't necessarily offensive-minded, but he is mobile in the sense that he's going to get up in the play on the offensive side. There's going to be jailbreaks with those two. There's going to be jailbreaks where they're both too far inside the blue line or they try and do something. It's going to lead to breakaways and odd man rushes. Now, throughout the season, I think that'll take care of itself, but early on, there's going to be some, I know what the word is, chemistry issues.
Oh, boy. Here we go. So Dorothy, if you mentioned his game, and I'm just curious, do you think that he's worked a lot with Eichel on improving his game?
I think so. I mean, I do remember this is preseason last year. I felt like Dorofeev and Eichel were working together just on a quick puck handling, stick handling type of drill for a long time, like a half hour after a practice. Like they were just out there just working and working. It was them two together. Are they working together this year? I don't know. But whatever Dorofeev is doing is definitely working. Obviously, we can't go too far without talking about the Tanners. It seems like is what we're calling them these
I was
days.
going to ask you, yeah, the Tanners.
They're Lazinski. Starting with Lazinski. Lazinski
Is he gonna stick? Will Lazinski make the opening night squad?
Lazinski's a center. That's just as good as it is.
Will he take? Yes. Will he take Carlson's spot if Carlson's still injured?
100%. Oh gosh, yeah. And I think this Carlson injury is a major concern right now. I know it's preseason. They're going to be really delicate with it. They said he wasn't going to skate until Sunday. Okay, well, Sunday dudes flew and went out to Montana to Foley's for their little retreat. So I don't know if he skated on Sunday. We'll get obviously a report I think on Tuesday when they return. But I'm concerned about the Carlson situation, and I think a lot of people should be right now. But as far as Lazinski, the concern I think is you have different paths to this roster right now. Pearson is a left winger, would do really well on that fourth line. Lazinski's a center. You know, is he built for a top 9 type of role? I don't know. I mean, Coach Cassidy's still talking about, you know, his nose for the game and, you know, getting to the right spots and the checking and everything. If Carlson or any of the top 3 centers are out and they decide not to elevate Nick Waugh, then Lazinski certainly has a path. Now, that said, Lazinski, I think, will have a path to this roster sometime throughout the season. What I don't know is, and I got cap wages right here, I wonder if the Golden Knights... So he's not listed on the main roster right now. So Lazinski, I'm assuming Lazinski's listed on the non-roster side. So he might be he's got a 775. I wonder if he's signed to he might be signed to the Silver Knights. So he might not even have an NHL contract right now.
Interesting.
I don't know if I'm reading this right or not, but either way, point is, I don't think he's going to have to go through waivers or anything like that to get down to the AHL. I could be wrong.
Okay, so you just mentioned, so this is the weekend that was at Foley's Ranch. Remember a year ago, Bruce Cassidy, no, I've never been there. I've never been invited. Do you think that for once they invited South Beach Bruce? Could he handle the ranch? Could he handle the ranch?
I mean, I
Some
remember
people just can't handle the ranch.
So my first quote unquote real job was selling cars. I was 19 years old and got a quick dose of reality, having a jerk of a boss to deal with and someone that made my life miserable. One day, I wasn't 19 because this happened. The story happened at a bar. So we'll say I was 21.
Are you calling Cassidy a jerk of a boss? Where are we going with this?
I'm definitely calling Cassidy a jerk of a boss, as many players will.
You just think the players want to get away from him?
No, I'm actually going somewhere good with this.
Okay.
So selling cars, had this jerk of a boss. Okay.
Yeah.
After work one day, where all the employees are out, we're having a drink, whatever, and the jerk of a boss shows up. He sits down, buys us around, and we all just talked and had a nice time and didn't talk any business. We just chilled and enjoyed each other's company. And that moment, you realize that, hey, this dude's human. He's got a family, and it broke down some barriers. So maybe the same can happen in a situation like this on the ranch. I don't know, but and again, Cassidy, is he a jerk of a boss? Probably.
No. He
but
just can't chill out. He can't chill out.
Yeah. Let me finish my Cassidy jerk because someone's going to just snip this and say I'm down on Cassidy. But
and they're going to blame me. They'll blame me for your.
They'll definitely blame you. But no, with Cassidy, listen, he's an NHL coach. He's doing things his way, and that's how all coaches do it. And is Cassidy a jerk and maybe tough to deal with at times? Absolutely, and that doesn't make him any different than any other coach. But and I don't know if he's on this trip or not, but if he's there, it would be nice. It would help him to break down some barriers with the players, especially some of the younger players that are looking to make the roster that maybe haven't had a chance to make a trip like this. And when they come back, hopefully it's all kumbaya and everyone's ready to go.
Maybe he was invited now that Marchessault's not on the roster anymore, because they would have went to the ranch and said F you, F you, F you. They would have went back and forth. So, that's
probably how they were, and that's not. I don't think that's why why Marchessault isn't here either. To be fair,
I really would have liked to have heard that. That might have been hilarious.
I'm sure there's hot mic moments of that happening a lot between those two, but they hasn't seen the light of day yet.
Okay, we'll have to ask some of the players for that. But you're not
Let me
allowed
know how
to
that
call
goes.
them. Don't call them. Okay, so Aiden Hill's performance. I wanted to ask you about that. Other than getting more or less wiped out by Petro on the Carconi goal or whatever that guy's name was,
Yeah,
how was his performance? How was his performance?
He was fine. There's a couple rebounds that came from, I would say, low danger areas that maybe should have been deflected a little bit
Have
better.
we
But I
talked
mean,
about have we talked about him getting a pin? Like as much as we spoke about Hannafin's pin?
whatever. I mean, dude on the pin always scores, right? Until Friday night. But no, Aiden was fine. Rebound control maybe a little bit off. It's game one. I feel like I'm the only one in the universe that even caught this. So it was the third period, a seeing eye shot from the point right down Broadway, so to speak. It looked like he went the wrong way. I don't know if the puck deflected and he started to go left and then tried to go right. I don't know if he toe picked himself, but whatever happened, it was awkward to him. And the second it happened, he got up slow. And then the second thing, he was like moving his left leg, like he had his left leg almost in the air, like I don't know, like a dog gonna pee in a fire hydrant or something. But he has left leg up and he was just rotating it a lot. Just rotate. I mean, it might be totally precautionary, just trying to make sure nothing happened. But I certainly caught this in real time, and it's a non-starter because obviously nothing was talked about, and he got through the game and finished. If he has if he has as much of a hangnail in the preseason in a game, he's coming out right now. So the fact that he didn't come out, he's going to be fine. So that's a good thing.
Okay, he's not listed as month to month today, is what you're saying. Well, that's good news. But you're the only one that caught that, which is really good.
I don't know. I mean, I'm the only one that talked about it, but yeah.
Okay. VGK nearing the start of the regular season. 3 more preseason games to go at Colorado on Tuesday night. The Avs here on Thursday. The Sharks next Saturday. And then VGK, they'll actually be playing the Avs 3 of the next 4 games, including the official opening night here in Vegas.
Crazy.
Coming up next, will this be a career season ahead for Jack Eichel? Our discussion next, right here on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights. We are brought to you today by Gametime, which has a new feature called Gametime Picks. It makes getting tickets for your favorite live events even easier. It pretty much filters out all of the fluff, and it shows you only the incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste the time searching through thousands and thousands of tickets. And we want to tell you about some of the other features. There's curated deals that make it easier to find the best price on great seats. There's something called the Super Deal. Seat views before you even buy, so you know that you're not sitting next to Golick, because he picks out a lot of things, especially with the goaltender, and likes to wear the goaltender's pin at the game. The lowest price guarantee. There's event cancellation protection. There's job loss protection, all in pricing. Just toggle this feature, and it shows you the total up front with no surprise fees at checkouts. That is my favorite feature and the feature of the day. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets, folks, with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account. Use the promo code LOCKDOWNNHL, $20 off your first purchase. Again, create an account. Use the redeem code LOCKDOWNNHL, $20 off. Download Gametime today. What time is it, correspondent Golick?
Gametime.
Back on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights, Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick from Las Vegas. We appreciate you making us your first listen each and every day. You can find us wherever you get your podcast. And please make sure to subscribe to our Locked On Golden Knights YouTube channel. So I was over. I want to give a shout out, and I wish I could have remembered this gentleman's name. We did an event on Friday night over at the Sahara Hotel. An everydayer, I ran into an everydayer, came up and said, asked one of my coworkers if my name was Tony. I said, no, my name is Chris Golick. And And then, no, we started talking about the puck. So thank you so much for tuning in. And it's great to get out there and to see some of the folks that listen to us every day. We really do appreciate it. We do.
We had a couple people, one gentleman in 217 stopped and said he enjoyed the show, so I didn't get your name, but thank you for that. And a couple other people stopped me throughout
you
the
say your name's
the
Tony
stands at
Cardasco?
T-Mobile, so that's good.
If you said your name's Tony Cardasco, they'd throw you out of 217. You'd be in.
I mean, he
250
knew
right now.
they saw me. It was me and Chris. We're kind of hard not to mistake for Tony.
Okay, so
One, we were in the
walk.
stadium.
You
That's
took
why
the
it's
walk
kind of
the
hard.
other night. You took the walk and missed some action, huh? Would you
Oh, we
miss
always
some
do
goals?
that. Yeah, second period, me and Chris always walk, explore the stadium and stuff, and it's just our tradition. We go outside,
that.
we go inside, we go to the store, we go by the diagram. There's a spot where they didn't have it where it's a diagram of the plays happening. Like instead of seeing the actual game, it's like almost like a video game with the numbers on top moving around and stuff, which is kind of cool. And they always walked around and had a little more pizza, and it was fun.
Okay, so that was not operational the other night?
No, I'm assuming it's just a preseason thing. I'm assuming once the
preseason.
season starts, it'll be operational. I hope so. It's fun.
Why might you believe VGK's Jack Eichel could have a career season? Is it because he had 3 points in a preseason game? Mr. Overreaction?
I don't know if that's an overreaction. Number one, I'm not reacting to the preseason result, although it certainly helped.
The best
A
jobs.
little more
I like
hunchy, if
the job.
anything, honestly. A little more hunchy. You look at his last 2 seasons. Number one, the path is certainly there: 66 and 68 points, 67 and 63 games played. You look at the parallels to his career seasons, at least from simply a points perspective: 77 games played, 82 points in 18-19. You look at the 19-20 season, 68 games and 78 points. So even a little bit better that season on a point per game ratio. That season also, he was 46% in the faceoff circle, but the following season he was 49%, but only played 21 games. So, and then his faceoffs have slowly deteriorated a little bit. I'm surprised his faceoff percentage has actually gone down once he got to Vegas, but it is what it is, I guess, at this point. So more of a just, I don't know. I mean, I think a lot of people are, number one, wondering how well he's going to do without Marchessault. I think that's obviously a fair question to ask. Marchessault obviously had a wonderful season last year alongside of Jack, and really things have gone really well in this town for Eichel once Barbashev arrived. Once Barbashev arrived, I think it made whoever was going to be on that right wing to play with a little more comfortable and a little bit easier. Eichel's going to create time and space. Barbashev's going to be willing to be in front of the net and getting dirty. So that leaves basically the entire right side of the ice wide open. Now they're going to go from a right stick to a left stick in Olofsson, where there is some familiarity between the two. So I think Eichel wants, and this is a little something from the post game as well, but I really do think Eichel wants Olofsson to succeed in his role. So I think Eichel's going to go out of his way to help a little bit. And you put all that into a blender, and maybe you get a 75 game season out of Jack and 86 to 88 points, and maybe, just maybe, some of that consideration for the Selke. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm curious what you saw live out of Olofsson the other night on that line.
Not as much, I think, as other people saw. I thought at times he was lost in the shuffle. You did see some time where he was around the net having that opportunity. Did he really? I really don't feel like he had a chance to crank up the shot that we keep talking about.
We keep hearing about this shot.
We do, and I'm not knocking. I'm just simply saying we're hearing about it. I'm not seeing it yet. Maybe, obviously, that's going to change. Are they pushing too hard with him, I guess, is my question. I don't know. Do they want him to be in that role more than are they evaluating to see what the best spot is going to be for him? I don't know. I'm curious how it's going to shake out on the top power play unit. I'd mentioned Eichel's faceoffs on the power play. I thought he lost more than he won. Again, I could be wrong on that, but just going off of the eye test. So if you put Hurdle up there in that center role, obviously Eichel is still going to be up there, working one of the elbows or something like that. Who winds up dropping off that power play? I don't think they're going to drop Dorofeev off that power play. I don't know. We'll see how it works out. But I'm a little hunchy about Eichel this year having a big season.
Okay, that's good. That's fair. Okay, that first power play unit I thought was Stone, Hannafin, the QB, Eichel, Hurdle, Olofsson. Am I wrong?
Yeah, I believe that's what was going to be. And who was out there? Was Dorofeev out there in place on Friday night's game?
Doro they just plugged him in, but eventually we're going to see.
Yeah, no, honestly, that's what it needs to be, I believe, because winning that opening draw is all the difference in the world for a power play unit, especially with that much, firepower out there. And can they get that? I hate to keep saying this, but can they get that chemistry that's needed? VGK is going to need to have much better than the 18th best power play in the National Hockey League to have success this year. This team has lost some goals. We've talked about that, obviously. So now they're going to have to find ways to get some of those goals back. And obviously, a successful power play that's in the top 10 is the best path to doing so. And then some more creativity as far as getting pucks to the net, getting those scoring opportunities. And that's where a player like Dorofeev, I think, is going to make a big difference as well this year.
And something that stood out statistically about Eichel, right? We talk about him being close to that point per game player. Playoffs where it counts the most. 7 points, 7 playoff games this past season. Again, still trending towards 1 point per playoff game, which is phenomenal. Cup season, correct me if I'm wrong, 26 points
You're good.
in 22 games. 26 points.
Yep.
Okay, wow. And
33 and 29. 33 and 29
total. Okay, so 6 goals in the Cup season for the playoffs. I mean, that's phenomenal. I think something, now that he's into the playoffs, he is I was going to say Mr. October, but no, he's Mr. May, Mr. July, because the playoffs go into July. Mr. July now.
It's nice that Eichel.
They don't go into July, but
I hate knocking on Buffalo because I do it too much. But it's nice that Eichel got out of Buffalo, so the National Hockey League can experience the true player that he is. He's a pretty good player. I know everyone basically north, south, east, and west disagree with this, but Eichel's a pretty good hockey player. Obviously, he's very loved in Vegas. Outside of Vegas, no one really likes him at all, which is kind of strange, but that's fine. He kind of built some of that himself with the way he handled himself in Buffalo, but he certainly has. We've seen his character grow, and beyond his hockey game, his character is certainly on display on the ice, off the ice, and everything he does for various charitable initiatives. So Eichel's doing a lot of great things, and I really do think this could be a season that's could be his career best. I mean, obviously a lot of things have to happen. It starts with health, and I think everything goes from there. Will his faceoffs improve? I mean, 56% in a preseason game, we'll take it, right? We'll take it.
Yeah, that could be a trend, hopefully. And this team is just so much better with him on the ice.
Oh my God, he's a difference maker, Tony. That's it. He's a difference maker.
The best player on this team by far.
He's, according to, I think, EA Sports, the 17th best player in the National Hockey League.
Okay, so that's pretty cool. Coming up next, 22 players assigned back to their teams. Maybe did someone go back to your favorite, the Q? We'll talk about it next, right here on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights. Start the NFL season off with a big return at FanDuel. It's America's #1 sportsbook. And not just for football, but of course, now we head into the baseball playoffs. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. You will get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. It's simple. Just go to FanDuel.com. And also tonight, we do have a couple of NFL games. We've got the Dolphins hosting the Titans and Miami -2.5, and the total's 37 at FanDuel. And the Lions at home, a 4-point favorite over the Seahawks, and the total on that game is 47. Boy, oh boy, do I like the Lions. Once again, go to FanDuel.com. Why? Because it is America's #1 sportsbook. Welcome back on this edition. So we get this week started of Locked On Golden Knights. Tony Cardasco, Chris Golick from Las Vegas. Thanks for making us your first listen each and every day. And you can find us wherever you get your podcast. Don't forget Fridays, WTF. Saturdays, sometimes it's the Chris Jr. show. Okay, you didn't make there were no remarks about the hat today, bro.
Oh, bad. What is that? Oh, the
Jerry
Bruckheimer one. You
Bruckheimer,
talked about that. That's awesome.
Bad
I didn't even
Boys
see
of
that.
Hockey. Yep. This was the
Your camera's a little
2000.
grainy, Tony. What can I say?
I
The
know.
flip
Well,
phone,
the
you know?
fog has not rolled in yet, so we're good for now. But yeah,
I
it's
missed
the
the
Bad
fog.
Boys of Hockey. Yeah, it'll come in due time. In due time, bro. And then you're going to complain. Why can't we get rid of the fog?
Is coming. The fog is coming.
That was good. So VGK cut 22 players on Saturday. Really no surprises, but some names. I want to start off with the goaltenders. I thought that we would see more Carl Lindbaum. Jesper Vikman is gone, and your guy, Isaiah Seville. Where does Seville wind up? Does he go? Does he go up to Tahoe? He could be
I
odd
think
man out.
ultimately that's where he ends up.
He could be odd man out, right?
Yeah, I mean, he'll go through. So the Silver Knights will have their own camp as well. So he'll probably get the trifecta, right? He'll probably get all three. The Golden Knights, obviously, it's a little more crowded in the net right now as far as the prospects go. And nice thing about that, I do believe next season, again, we're talking way ahead right now, but I think the Golden Knights got a chance to be in the bargain bin, so to speak, as far as goaltending goes and what they're going to have to pay for, a couple starting caliber goaltenders. If Samsonov sticks around, at a light contract, and obviously Akira Schmid is still on a nice low deal. So who knows?
Some other names that were cut from the team, Braden Bowman, who had an exceptional rookie camp and the face-off, Matthew Cataford, my guy, Joe Fleming. They just don't give this guy a chance, man. Come on. And Christopher Sedoff gets the send-off. Sedoff gets the send-off. You get it? Yeah.
I'm supposed to talk now. Okay. Brad Bennett, I saw, was sent down. He actually did really well in the face-off circle on Friday night's game. Keep an eye on the waiver situation. If anyone winds up claiming Burke, Denisenko, Gearstein, Mayo, and Gage Quinney. I don't know.
Gage Quinney, who we talked about the other day.
Yeah, I mean, Quinney, he's
your guy, Denisenko. Could he be gone? I'd pick him up off a waiver wire. Are you kidding me?
I don't know. I mean, listen, the path to him joining the Vegas Golden Knights was Florida waiving him, the Golden Knights with the final waiver claiming him, sending him to the AHL, which automatically puts him back on waivers again. Every team passed him again, including the Florida Panthers, who could have claimed him and put him in the AHL. So I think the book is kind of out on Denisenko at this point. Probably going to be a phenomenal player for the American League, going to help sell some tickets to make your franchise successful in the American League. But as far as making that jump, he doesn't. Does he have the Tanner Laczynski gear? Is Tanner Laczynski just a 2 year older version of Denisenko right now, in the sense that Laczynski's going to go through the exact same thing, right? Laczynski's got some flashes, doing okay, and once the lights of the National Hockey League go on in the regular season, does his game decline? Or, more importantly, hopefully Laczynski obviously is able to elevate his game enough. So certainly some parallels between the two players there. We'll have to see if Laczynski is Denisenko or if Laczynski is him, Tony. There you go. If Laczynski is him.
I still want to call him Greg Laczynski, the man who put the crack in the Liberty Bell. But you know what, Mason Geertsen, you had to cut Geertsen.
Name, right?
You know why? Laczynski?
No, Geerstein, I don't know, whatever. Okay.
Geertsen, you had to cut him. Why? He let up a goal between his legs. I think that was the one against Samsonov. Yeah, you have to cut somebody like that. They do have practice today. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty for VGK, 2:30 in the afternoon. So they need to sleep off a little bit of that ranch hangover. Right?
I got a feeling there's going to be a garbage can nearby, some barf bags, maybe.
You think so? Perhaps for Cassidy, if he was invited, maybe.
I hope so.
29 players currently on the roster, down to 23 for opening night. Is that correct?
Yeah, 23, and then you dress 20 players for a game, and then have 2 or 3 or scratches, basically. Just
interesting. So now down to 29 players. We'll see who. Brendan Brisson, could he be one of the final 6?
I think Brisson's way on the outside. I think the Tanners
on the outside looking in. Pearson's
Tanners pushed him down. Both the Tanners pushed him down right now. I think
2 Tanners have pushed him down. You're right.
Is there a joke about the two tenors? Is there a tenor band called the Tenors or something? I don't know. Whatever.
Something
But
about I think it's the 4 tenors, but the 2 tanners.
That's
The
close.
2 tanners. Yeah.
Yeah, no, the Tanners both pushed him down. Dorofeev is comfortably above him. I think the one player, and obviously in these last 3 games, I'm guessing Holtz plays all the last 3 games because I think the Golden Knights need to find out where he's going to fit on this roster. Is Holtz waiver eligible still? Let's see.
Now, I'm curious too to hear about that, but also, yeah, it's
Holtz is waiver eligible, so I mean, there's a chance. I don't think it's likely, but there's a chance they could have Holtz in the American League to start the season. Put him through waivers. He's exempt, so he doesn't have to go through waivers, but he'll just go right to Henderson, and then that's a path for both the Tanners to be on the roster, possibly.
Yeah, I want to know why. Okay, so VGK they play against the Avalanche 3 of the next 4 games, including opening night. And so you don't want to show too much, right? Do you try to get an advantage heading into opening night with 2 out of the next 3 in the preseason against
That's
Colorado?
the way I think coaches are going to think, Tony. I mean, I think that's how they think. There's that competitive, spirit and stuff like that, and you might see a roster. What Thursday is Colorado, right?
The next game tomorrow is Colorado.
Colorado's a home game on Thursday, I thought. Isn't there another game tomorrow night?
Okay, you're just confusing the heck out of me.
I'm confused too. So
Okay,
it's preseason.
So at Colorado on Tuesday, the Avs are here on Thursday.
It's back to back. Okay, I got you.
And then the Sharks sneak in. The Sharks sneak in for one, and then it's opening night 10 days away, just 10 days away now.
That's some weird scheduling, and we've heard all the hoopla about one less preseason game and everything, and now you're forcing the Golden Knights and the Avalanche to have a possible dress rehearsal.
They don't want to play. They don't want to play
6 or 8 days before they play a real game. So these
why?
These might be throwaway games for both teams, honestly. Like you get whatever the minimums are, and then Saturday against the Sharks is the game where it's the opening night roster or pretty close to it.
Don't give away too much because tomorrow our correspondent Chris Golick will tell us more about the Avalanche and sizing up that preseason matchup. No pins. Are they giving away pins in Colorado too?
I don't know.
Why don't they give away a Hannafin pin? They have to have some left over. We appreciate everyone tuning in, especially our everydayers. Thank you so much. We really do appreciate you. Of course, make sure that you go and subscribe to our Locked On Golden Knights YouTube channel, where sometimes you can also find the Chris and Chris Jr. Show. And every Friday is WTF. Some good ones. They fired away some really good stuff this past week, and that's only going to get better. Former man Chris Golick. I am Tony Cardasco, and we come to you every day from Las Vegas. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you again tomorrow right here on Locked On Golden Knights. And please, folks,